Hey YouTube, so I just saw Doctor Strange and it was a fun time at the cinema, but the movie was definitely a mixed bag. It wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be. Now when I say that, I'm not saying it was a bad movie, I'm just saying I had higher expectations and it didn't exactly meet those expectations. Maybe that says more about me than the movie, but I'm just going to give you my personal opinions about Doctor Strange. Now this is the 14th entry into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I think when you're walking out with the 14th movie saying you had a fun time, that they're definitely doing something right. Doctor Strange is directed by Scott Derrickson, who's primarily known for horror movies such as The Exorcism of Emily Rose and Sinister, both movies that I really enjoyed, so I was very excited to see his take on Doctor Strange. Now the movie doesn't have any horror elements, it's your typical Marvel movie, it's very family friendly and light-hearted, which isn't a bad thing. I always walk away from a Marvel movie with a smile on my face. So, I mean, he did a good job. The movie's very visually striking, it's beautiful to look at, and the creativity is off the charts. It's really worth going to the cinema to see some of these scenes. I didn't see the movie in 3D, but I would imagine it looks pretty great because there's some creative scenes in here. Like, they are fantastic. You've seen them in the trailers, and there's even more in the movie. The movie also has an all-star cast, and all the actors in here really perform brilliantly. Unfortunately, some of these actors are given a little bit more to do than others. For example, Benedict Cumberbatch, who plays the title character of Dr. Stephen Strange, is obviously given loads to do, whereas a side character of Rachel McAdams, who plays Christine Palmer, she's not given so much to do, and when she is on screen, I feel like her writing could have been a little better. For example, there's a scene where basically she's introduced to the magic of the movie, and she does kind of react to it, but that's it. She never reacts again. She sees something that changes her entire reality. She kind of makes a joke about it, and then she just accepts it from there on. And I'm like, I feel like there should have been a bit more of an adjustment period. I feel like that would have been more interesting to watch. I also think that Tilda Swinton, who plays the Ancient One, I think she did a great job, but I would have liked to see a little bit more for her. Same for Chiwetel Ejiofor, who plays Mordo. I would have liked to see, again, more of him. He was very interesting to watch while he was on screen. I just wanted to see more of him. Now, the bad guy in this movie is Mads Mikkelsen. I think he was in one of the James Bond movies. I'm not really that big of a James Bond fan, but he was kind of familiar to me. Yeah, he was good, but he just played a bit of a typical bad guy. While his motivations weren't necessarily, I'm the big evil and I want to take over the world, he did have noble intentions, but he was bad. I mean, I don't understand how he didn't realise that he was a bad guy. I think if you're killing people, yeah, you're kind of a dick. But yeah, he was good in the role, but again, I don't think it was something that stood out. I think it's another MCU villain that we're not going to really remember. And there's an even bigger bad in the movie that I won't describe or even go into. But while I didn't mind it, I was kind of like, yeah, this is very familiar. I've seen this before. And that's something that I feel holds this movie back, familiarity. While we're seeing all this new mystical stuff that is really changing how we approach the MCU, we're also seeing a very by-the-numbers origin story. We're seeing something we've seen before. And even in the final scenes of this movie, I won't spoil exactly what happens, but you'll know it when you see it. You'll be watching it and thinking, am I really seeing this in another movie in 2016? I really just want them to make something a little bit more creative for their final scenes. Now, it is enjoyable and it's beautiful and visual in those final scenes, and it suits the story, but it's still familiar. It's still something that could have been done differently. One thing I will say about the story is that Benedict Cumberbatch is given plenty of opportunities to show loads of different sides to Stephen Strange. We really get to see this character progress and grow, and it's really interesting to see all that happen. Unfortunately, as I said earlier, we don't really get to see that happen with the other characters in the movie. Yes, there is some growth, but it's not really in our face. We don't really get to witness it. It just kind of happens. Another thing I noticed in the movie was that a lot of the humour didn't land with the audience. I didn't find myself giggling and I didn't hear anyone really laughing. There was one guy, however, who would laugh out loud all the time, even if there wasn't even a joke. It was really strange, actually. It was Doctor Strange. Oh, terrible joke. Anyway, I'm going to finish up the review here on that really low note. I'm just going to say that this movie is something you should go to see in the cinema. It's by no means a bad movie. It is flawed, but it's enjoyable. I think Doctor Strange fans will really love the movie. I'm not someone who was absolutely a die-hard Doctor Strange fan. I'd seen him in some comics and I'd seen him in his animated movie. But other than that, I wasn't that familiar with the character. I did have a good time, but I was kind of hoping for a little bit more. If I had to rank Doctor Strange in with the other MCU movies, I'd actually have it closer to the end. So this is from worst to best. At the very end, I'd say Thor: The Dark World, Iron Man 2, The Incredible Hulk, and Doctor Strange. Now, some people are going to completely disagree with that. I think we all have our own personal preferences. And hey, if Doctor Strange is your first movie in the list, if that's your favourite Marvel movie, then good for you. I'm really happy that you got to see a movie you enjoyed. Yeah, so that's my review. Thanks for watching. I know it was very sloppy with all those edits, but I just really struggled to make this. There was a lot to this review, and I don't think I even got to say all the things I really wanted to say. I'll just finish with go see the movie, judge it for yourself, and thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you like what you see. See ya. Bye.